beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. You're here with me, Sarit and Stevie K. Okay, today guys, we're watching Twisters.
Yeah, official trailer. It says, if you feel it, chase it. Have you seen? Yeah, I'm guessing this is the sequel. Is that right? Of the sequel of the first one. The first one, Twister. I'm guessing this is a sequel, Twisters. Have you watched the first one, or do you remember? Okay, if it is, let me just have a quick read. This summer, the Epic Studio disaster movie returns. So it is. If it returns, then it's a sequel. With an adrenaline-pumping, gripping, big screen thrill ride that puts you in direct contact with one of nature's most wondrous and destructive forces.
Yeah, I've watched it.
From the producer of Jurassic Born and Indiana Jones series comes Twisters, a current-day chapter of the 1996 blockbuster. 1996. Twister, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, the writer and director of Minari. Twister stars. Yeah. Starring Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell. Okay, the original, was it Bill Paxton, I believe? Was it Helen Hunt? I'm just going with the top of my head because it obviously 1996. So if you think about that, 20 years? No, 16, 30 years? 30 years ago?
Bloody hell.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nearly 28. I remember watching the first one on an aeroplane. Yeah, I was coming back. I was either going to India or I was coming back from India. I can't remember if I was going or I was coming back, but it was on, when you couldn't, those days when the TV screen wasn't on the seat, it was just like there. I was on British Airways and it was, the whole aeroplane was empty, but you didn't get to choose what was on, something just come on. And obviously being quite young then, and just like sitting there going, what's going to come on next? Didn't know nothing about it. Twister site, and I actually enjoyed it. It made my whole journey so pleasurable that I can never forget, kind of thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, and even till this day, I remember watching it, and I remember, I obviously ended up. Then obviously I had the DVD shop, video shop, didn't I? Yeah. And then I made sure I had that movie still. I bought it anyway once it was released, but I had it in my shop, store, so people can rent it out, and I watched it many times after that as well. But that's where I first watched it on aeroplane.
I don't remember. Obviously, my uncle had a shop as well, so I'm sure it was probably borrowed off him or we watched it together. I don't know, but I know I watched it.
Basically, what they were, it was like them two were obviously husband and wife, and they had separated. And he wanted to go and meet her. He was no longer. They used to chase Twisters, and then he was going back just to see her because he was moving on in a different relationship. And he was going back there to see her, so she signed the divorce papers. But she was chasing Twister, so it's something that they were doing together. And was it, I think, a Dorothy? He created this machine which had these like balls in there, and the balls would go into the Twister, and he'll tell them how it's created, kind of thing. Yeah. All the ins and outs. So scientifically, it all gives them all the information, how it twists and goes different ways.
Detail, don't you?
So, but she went through childhood trauma because when she was little, living on the farm, I think her father got taken away by a Twister. So it's why it was so important. But during that time, not only was the visual effects really good at that time, but it was also how they ended up still, getting closer again.
I think
during
if
they had that
thing. It brings back everything you've said. I have watched it, and it must have been just that one-off. I don't think I've watched it like twice or whatever. So that's, for me, recapping that. I know I've definitely watched it.
Guys, let us know if you've seen the first one. Let us know what you guys thought, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and do let us know
as well.
Yeah, I still remember it. I do remember. Was it? Is it Carrie Ills or something like that? The guy who was in Saw, I'm sure he was in it as well.
Yeah. How many years later?
He was on the other side of the bad guy. Because it was also that it was like two teams trying to get there first. We want to get there first.
Yeah.
And we want to, but at the same time, it's like avoiding getting killed.
I think for me, I can remember that part when they're in like a Jeep thing and it's behind them.
Yeah, it's behind them, but then there was like their sisters. That's when two of them come together, kind of thing.
That's what I remember. But the fact that it's been that long and they're now doing Twisters, like there's nothing like being...
Yeah. There's been disaster movies, but that was a really good disaster movie. Anyway, guys, I know we've gone on, but hey, we're going to check it out now. Here we go. Just like back memories, sorry. That's how it was then.
Guys, whatever's in there, it's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go.
Ooh.
Guys, you gotta get out of here. Do you hear me?
Was she in Day After Tomorrow?
calls himself a tornado wrangler. If you feel it,
It seems
I
like
said if you
similar.
feel it, All right, here we go.
Imagine the people who are willing and want to do that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
she's perfect.
She's gorgeous.
You thought you could destroy a tornado.
We
Dorothy?
never had a chance.
You want one? You don't face your fears. You ride them.
We got twins. Twins.
There you go. It just seems like. Ooh.
Is that it?
Nope.
Everything's out in July. In theatres in July. That's the time, isn't
Do you
it?
know what it makes me think of? I know we spoke about like the movie itself. Like I was like, have we ever seen a Twister before? We saw it. Remember we saw that little mini one?
We saw a little small one
crazy,
when we
just
went
that
to
little mini
we
one.
went to Spain. Yeah, you could just see actually just like going
The
right
kids
by.
were like, I think Casey's hat came off.
Yeah, it was just like that, but it was a mini one, so we haven't really experienced anything. You don't really get them. You do get them in the UK. There have been, and obviously being a police officer, I knew when we've had earthquakes and we've had some twisters around, and we've got calls coming in, but nothing so big and major.
That small tiny one.
But can you imagine in America? I don't know about the other countries, but you hear more about America. I'm guessing they have them quite often,
yeah.
and they probably have them really big.
Wow.
I mean, in the first one, I remember you could see the cow going up in the air, like going around, and you know. But here, I think
how I felt about it. It just reminded me, like, I don't know, it's very grainy. I thought it was going to be like, it feels like back in the days kind of a movie. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it didn't seem like, because it said it was like modern day. It didn't feel
Didn't,
like
no.
modern day, did it? It's just like.
It's like they shot it back in 1996.
1996, and again, it seemed like he was up for like, you know, that is it the character kind of thing, that I'm the main guy and I'm gonna do it, and then she just jumps on. But then so which period? And then not only that, it just like felt like again it was like sisters, you know, or twins or whatever. Everything I mentioned before I even watched it just didn't seem anything different.
That's the thing.
But in that one,
you want to like,
I'm just hoping that there's a story to it though. Obviously, it's not set in that time because of
I
is that
get
a drone
that, but it
that
doesn't,
they've
have, it
got?
doesn't have that modern feel to it at all. Even with the way they all are, I don't know.
Obviously, like the building. But the thing is that I think the storyline, besides them, like it was like they were trying to show that we've got the CGI and we can do the special effects and this can be a disaster movie. But sometimes it's nice to have a, you know, like if they started it in a way that there was like this, she went through some trauma or something. Or I know it could be in the film, but give us a bit of a feel.
The feel.
The relationship, or why do they want to do this to the point where, oh my gosh, you know, kind of thing. It just felt like, it's something that they're doing as it's their job, and you know, they're putting themselves in it. So it wasn't like, oh, they just got placed in that position. I know the first one was similar, but sometimes like make the story different. If it's like really exactly the same, but you're just going to chuck in more twisters in and give it a bit more CGI, then it's not going to be anything.
They did a great job then, back in 2000.
I enjoyed it then,
96.
and considering what they had, done the best they
To
could.
be honest, and it doesn't look anything like amazing. That's with the CGI. I don't think so.
There you go.
But then again, it's just a teaser. Isn't it?
It's a trailer. It's a trailer.
Was this a trailer?
It's a trailer,
Oh,
yeah.
then it didn't really draw me, especially if it's for a trailer. It wouldn't be something that I'll be like, oh, I really want to
But
watch.
considering there isn't many disaster movies out this year, I would still probably give it a watch and have a look. So, and certainly because of how I felt about the first one, just to see the comparison.
Yeah.
You know, did they justify doing a sort of, you know, a return to it kind of thing after all this time? And have they made it better? Yeah. Anyway, that was the video. That was the reaction. Let us know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. See you soon.
I don't lie.
Bye.
It was kind of disappointing for me.